Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Vibrational Actor. I am your host, Sean Robert Grant. Hope you are fantastic. If you're watching this, guess what? You're not watching the debate. Anywho, hope this message finds you feeling your best, and you're likely an actor if you're watching this. And that's fantastic because a great message ahead for you today. So I have, I want to say 100 episodes on the podcast, The Actors Area, which is a resource that you can use as much as you like. It's available on iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, all these great outlets, as well as Spreaker. I mean, it's just, I think 6 or 7 different outlets you can find this podcast on. But anyway, I go over a lot of different topics as it relates to career advancement, as it relates to being unstuck, which was what we're going to talk about today in today's message. And, really ties into a lot of different stuff within the book, The Vibrational Actor, A Heart-Centered Approach to Acting. So the funny thing is I couldn't fit everything into the book that I wanted, but everything that I needed to fit into the book, I was able to, if that makes sense. So, but what I want to do is kind of piggyback here with a lot of the concepts that, I feel like need to be discussed. And so one of the biggest things is the whole process of being stuck, right? And some people are stuck for a few weeks. Some people are stuck for months. Some people go into year hiatuses for years at a time, and have to sort of get out of those. And I never want to call it a rut, because it's never a rut. And we're going to talk a bit more in depth about that today, as it relates to the whole idea of basically just blasting yourself free from being stuck in your acting career. Okay, so let's get into it, guys. Vibrational actor, getting unstuck in your acting career. Okay, so this is mainly just to give you an idea as it relates to what you can do when it feels like you're not progressing. And I want to tell you something right off the bat that is so very important that you need to realize. When everything seems like it comes to a halt or a standstill, here is what is happening. The divine is urging you to move in a different direction, right? It's urging you to look at things from a different perspective, and it's urging you to maybe start to develop a new talent that can help you to continually progress within your career. Every time it feels like you're stuck, you have to go through that. And so I said those because I'm going to go through those again here within today's message, but it's never a bad thing to feel like you're stuck. And, you almost have to ask yourself, why would we call it stuck? Because there's a reason why there's a stoppage. There is a hiatus or a beat, if you will, as we're moving along within the journey of our career. So, you really have to take a moment to really see what's going on. And I wanted to drive that home before I got into the bullet points that we have. And so let's do that. Let's get right into it. Okay. So number one, ask for the wisdom behind the idea of being stuck. And when I say ask for the wisdom, your greatest asset, I find, as an actor, as a human being or spiritual being having a human experience, is your intuition. Why? Because it never leads you astray. It's always going to guide you in the direction that you need to go, and it's up to you to tap into it and use it to discover the wisdom, to discover the truth behind anything that is happening in your career. Okay. So when it seems like stuff is not moving, I'm going to give you an example here in just a bit, but when it seems like your career is not moving, what you need to do is take a moment to go within and ask, what is unfolding right now? What is it that I need to see? What is the blessing or a lesson that's being given within me being in the place of the stagnancy, right? And that simple question opens you up to behind the scenes of what's really going on as it relates to you, as it relates to what you need to do to progress. Because sometimes standing still is the best progress, right? That there's a lot of stuff moving behind the scenes to sort of organize and come together to help you to be in a position to really move forward quickly, right? So I talked about an example. I want to give you an example that has happened in my own career. And it's amazing because there's been times where I would get on these highs, right? And just booking job after job after job after job after job, right? And then everything would kind of come to a stop or come to a standstill. And I would still attempt to try to do the stuff that I was previously doing, but it wouldn't work, right? So it's like having the hot hand and then all of a sudden you can't hit a shot to save your life, right? Because here's what you got to know. So the whole vibrational actor thing is a spiritual concept within the realm of acting. It's a spiritual concept within the realm of acting, okay? So in understanding that, you got to know there is a divine reason behind when something ceases operating in a functional, optimal manner, right? So let's say I remember 2017, the fall and the winter of 2017, I went on a rampage and I was booking one thing after the other, and it was just effortless. It was effortless. It was easy. It was just happening, right? And it just seemed like one job after the other was coming, and I misconstrued the idea that what I was doing physically was actually bringing these jobs in. And so I continued to do that. And towards, I guess, the time period after about 2.5, 3 months, everything started to dry up. And I'm thinking to myself, well, I got to keep doing what I'm doing. But then it still dried up, right? And so I pressed for a little bit, and then all of a sudden I had to take a moment to stop, take a step back, and I had to ask for the wisdom behind what is happening. And when I asked for that wisdom, you know what it told me? It's time to stop performing for a bit and get back into writing. It's time to get back into doing the podcast. It's time to get back into creating articles for these publications, right? And everything acting wise stopped. And so I had to go back into sort of like teacher, writer, coach mode. And then everything just took off, right? Opportunities to write for this publication, for that publication, opportunities to be on podcasts, opportunities to coach actors and help them along, in their career. All of that happened when I stopped, took a step back and asked, why am I stuck? Why is this not working anymore? My intuition gladly, freely gave me the reason why things were happening the way that they were. And so I had to make a choice. Okay. Do I take my inner guidance, which I should always take my inner guidance, and follow the truth of what it's showing me, the path that's going to lead to the most fulfillment? Or do I press, and struggle and work really, really hard and push to try to make things happen? Right. And so this becomes the issue a lot of times when we're not making progress, right? And so in this case, for me, I've got a multitude of talents within this industry. So there's a lot of things that I can do. And I really feel like the divine desires me to use all of them. For you, let's just say, all you can really do is act. This could come in the form of the divine could say, you know what, you really need to let your agent go. You really need to find a new manager. You really need to go to a new class. You really need to start reading a book that's going to take you to another level. You really need to take a vacation. You really need to take a break from what you're doing. Any of those options could come up that could catapult you forward and free you from being stuck. So that's number one. Always ask, what is the wisdom behind the idea of being stuck, and wait for the guidance. And when the guidance comes, act on it, right? Act on it, and then move forward accordingly. Intuition will never steer you wrong. And it's so important for every actor and actress to have that and to be in tune with it. I promise you, it makes all the difference between success and failure, as well as fulfillment. Okay? Number two, choose to look at things from a different perspective, right? So taking you back to that time, like I said, when I'm booking everything, the biggest thing for me was to be, and this is actually the next one, but to be in a state of gratitude as everything is unfolding, right? Sometimes that's the hardest thing, because as an actor, you're happy, you're excited, you're thrilled that it's all going down, and it's exciting, and it's like you're full of life and you're working, you're on set. But then sometimes it can creep in, well, I want to keep this going. Like, I really want to make sure that this stays the way that it is. And then you kind of fall into that lackful being afraid a bit. And so you know what you need to do? You kind of need to bring yourself back and cultivate that gratitude. Take a different perspective, right? So take you back to my own personal experience. So for me, after booking all those jobs and working incessantly for like 2.5, 3 months at the end of 2017, everything stops. Everything comes to a halt, right? So instead of me saying, like I did at first, right? What am I doing wrong? Like, why is this happening to me? Why can't I just, be this working actor as I want, blah, 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 really putting out resistance and fighting it. When I went back to my intuition, it gave me a better perspective to take upon things. And the first thing that it made me change my perception of was being grateful for everything that just unfolded. Like, the number of jobs that came in a 2.5 month period was staggering, right? It was like I couldn't get off set one day to receive an email to know that I was going to be working for the next 3 days. That's how amazing it was. And it was just repetitive. And I was on the road and I was driving and I was like going to these different locations, and it was just so exhilarating, right? But what my intuition once again showed me was be grateful for what is unfolded, right? And learn to be grateful as it's happening, because that in itself is always going to lead you to the highest path for you. And the highest path for me was being able to take and move into the aspect of coaching and writing and teaching and stuff like that. So, once I took a different perspective, like, okay, obviously there's a greater reason behind why this is all stopping at this moment. Okay. I just need to find out what it is. And once I find out what it is, it's right, because it feels like a sense of peace, right? We fall so hard into thinking and believing and feeling like press, force. When sometimes we just got to say, wait, stop. Okay. Touch the heart. What is really being conveyed right now? What is really trying to be revealed to me? And what's the best perspective I can take on it, right? Because forcing does not get it, right? You want things to unfold for you that are so perfect that the manifestation of it becomes effortless, right? And that's the most beautiful thing you could ever experience, is when the roles and the jobs that are really meant for you unfold effortlessly. It lets you know right away from the heart, you feel it. Okay, I'm in the right place at the right time, doing the right thing with the right people. When you got to press, and when there's a bit of resistance and tug and pull, it's like, okay, let's take a step back. What's happening here, right? Sometimes, and a lot of times, you may even be guided to take a step away from acting altogether. I can remember there's a time I said, you know what, and excuse my friend, I was like, fuck this. I'm done. I'm done chasing. I'm done kissing ass. I'm done all of this, right? Done. And I just put it on the back burner and put it aside. And what do you know? Sometime later, the perfect job comes into my life. Why? Because I let go of the need to have something happen in a certain way. I just said, I'm just letting it go and I'm putting it aside. I can't deal with it right now, right? And so that can happen from time to time. What that does is that gives you a fresh perspective. It allows you to not be so attached, right, to what is happening, but it allows you to get into alignment with what is supposed to be happening that is in your highest good from a divine standpoint, right? So all you do, you take a different perspective. And the first perspective you move into, which I'll talk about in number 3, is just gratitude. And then from gratitude, you begin to see, okay, I have options. I always have options. I'm just not seeing them yet, but I choose to take a different perspective, a more positive, a more uplifting, a more desirable perspective from the standpoint of my career being the very best that it can be. And I'm going to move from there, right? And then what happens? Doors opens up, windows opens up, gates open up, right? And you start to see things, and then there becomes options, right? And like I said, always be open. If you're going to succeed, and remember, we talked about the last video, defining your definition of success, right? It's different from everybody, right? Everybody doesn't want to work 10 months out of the year, living out of hotels and everything else. And some people do, right? But understand, your definition of success is what counts. And that comes from your intuition. Once you know that, it becomes a whole lot easier to operate from a space of knowing that you are in the right place at the right time, doing the right things with the right people, right? But it's all perspective, because perspective begins to help you to see what you were missing beforehand and what you can take action on now. All right? Yeah. Number 3. Be grateful for all that is going right in your acting career at the moment. Okay, so the crazy thing about being stuck is you easily want to fall into negative habits. It's just human nature, right? Even the most enlightened beings, spiritual beings, you want to fall into that because it's the easiest thing to do. And you know what? Heck, if it happens, let it happen for a bit, but then bring yourself back around full circle. Right? And so you can never lose with gratitude. You can never lose with gratitude. I can up until this recent movie that I just shot, there was a big space of where acting was just kind of put to the side, right? And so it wasn't like I gave up on it, but I could tell my inner guidance was leading me in a different direction, right? I had my ministry going, I was doing fitness. I was doing all this stuff. And so acting was just kind of, it's not going away, but we're just putting it to the side, right? And so I just had to be grateful. And so what I would do is turn on Netflix, Amazon Prime, Tubi, all these movies that I've done that are actually on these channels. I would turn them on and I would just experience gratitude as I watched it, right? And I would just sit there and say, thank you. You know what? If I ever got the opportunity to do this again, to be blessed enough to do this again, I'm just going to take it all in. I'm just going to embrace it like I never have before. And it made all the difference, right? I could feel every time I did that, I became more content within with all the opportunities and blessings that I've had within my career, as opposed to being like, when's my next job? Or, what's next? Who's going to hire me? Who do I have to submit to? Blah, blah, blah. If you can get out of focusing on what you don't have and focusing on what's present and what has been present, that's going to create success for you, right? It's going to create immense success for you, right? And so that's a big deal. That's a really big deal to be able to get that and to know that that is an option for you. Because here's the thing. If you're not booking, be grateful for the auditions. If you're not getting auditions, be grateful that you're still in it and you're doing whatever you need to get back to that point, right? If you are booking, be grateful for the projects you've been able to do and the people you've been able to meet and the lives you've been able to impact, right? And just stay in that gratitude. Stay in that gratitude as much as you possibly can, because that gratitude is what will forever keep you in a place to where when it's time to move, you'll move. When it's time to be still and embrace what's around you, you'll do that, but you'll do it at a high level. And it will never be a case where you have to look over your shoulder, where you have to struggle, where you have to force, where you have to push and prod, but you can accept what unfolds in perfect divine order for you as an actor, as a performer, right? So wherever you are today, wherever your career has taken you, wherever it feels like, whatever it is, choose to be grateful for it. Choose to be grateful for it. If you're feeling stuck, take the time and go within. Meditation is an actor's playground, we say in the book, an actor's playground. Go within, ask, okay, what is being given? What is being done through me right now as I take this beat in my career? Ask the right questions, connect to the intuition, be grateful, and I promise you, you will never feel stuck. Even when nothing is physically moving, you will never feel stuck, right? It's impossible to feel stuck when you're in alignment, in coherence with the universe, right? Absolutely impossible. That's where you want to be, because truly, you're never stuck. You're never really stuck at all. Everything's always moving. It's just, if it appears like I'm stuck, that means that I just got the wrong perception. I got to take a different perception on something, and I've got to move in a different direction. And once I do that, it frees me up. It frees me up in a way that really takes me to another level of or within my acting career. All right? That wraps it up for today, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining me today on this beautiful Wednesday night. Yes, if you have any questions, any ideas, any feedback, any correspondence, I want you to write to me at SeanG04@gmail.com. Why? Because I'm here to help, right? I'm here to help. I'm here to be a vessel of service in any way that I can, right? Just think about some of the messages I got the other day, like, I think just all over the world, people send you stuff and be like, can you put me in your next movie? I'm like, can I get a hello, I love your show first or something like that? Hello, this is my reel. Put me in your movie, please. I mean, that, of course, this is like, people in foreign countries and stuff like that. But I just find it funny how that happens. But yeah, feel free to write and drop a line, feedback, whatever it is, whatever that may be. Yeah, it's all good. Remember the Actors Area. That is a resource for you. I got a lot of articles on Medium. I've got articles on Backstage. I've got articles on New York castings, on the Daily Actor. Got a new one coming up on the Daily Actor talking about monologues. So got a lot of resources for you. Also, the Vibrational Actor, pick it up. I'm telling you, if you really want to take your acting to another level, but do it in a spiritual sense, pick up that book. The link is in the description. It's a great read. It's really inexpensive, as it relates to the value that you're actually getting in the book. And I did that on purpose. So grab that, and soon, Become a Powerhouse in Auditioning is being released. And I am so excited about this book because I put so much into this book as far as auditioning. I went all George Washington Carver as far as finding different ideas to help you to just become a master of auditioning. And I'm telling you, this book here, I'm excited about. I'm excited about the Vibrational Actor, but I'm definitely excited about BPA, Become a Powerhouse in Auditioning. And I will let you know when that one is available. But other than that, go get the Vibrational Actor. It's a quick read, and it will inspire you. That's all I can say about it. So don't take my word for it. Go get it. And I think that's all I got for today, guys. Thank you for joining me. It has been a pleasure of the utmost nature, and I will talk to you soon. Have a wonderful night. Take care. Bye-bye.